The core conditions are empathy, unconditional positive regard, and congruence. And while these come from person-centered counselling, they're really applicable to any modality because it will help strengthen that therapeutic alliance. So let's break down each of them in turn, starting with empathy. So empathy is different from sympathy. Sympathy is expressing concern for somebody else's situation, whereas empathy is trying to feel and trying to experience the world as the client does. So it's trying to walk in their shoes, see the world from their perspective, or the term that we use in person-centered is adopting their frame of reference. So when we talk about frame of reference, we're looking at trying to see the world from their perspective. And if we can get into that headspace, then we're going to understand their problems a lot better. So for example, imagine that you got a B on an exam, a grade B. Is that good? Is that bad? Why would someone be excited about that? Why would someone be upset about that? Well, if we can get into their headspace, their frame of reference, maybe they're from a family that doesn't really value education and normally they get a lot of C's and D's. And so for them, a B is really exciting because that's one of the better grades they've got. Or maybe they're from a family that is very keen on education and puts a lot of pressure on their children to really highly achieve, and there is an expectation within that family that they should always get A's. And so for them, a B is a disaster. The same situation, but for two different people with two different set of beliefs, that could either be great or it could be a really upsetting experience. And by understanding their frame of reference, by understanding the world from their point of view, then we can understand what they're struggling with, understand their problems, and really feel how they feel and offer genuine empathy. So really being able to connect with and understand the experience that they're having. Number two is unconditional positive regard. So this is essentially acceptance. We accept the person in front of us regardless of what they are, what they've done, how they feel. So what is the opposite of this? Well, it might be offering judgment on them and saying, well, they say something and we judge them, and that's what they might get from a lot of their other relationships, is that they feel they can't talk about certain things because they think the other person will judge them. Or they might have conditions of worth placed on that relationship. So for example, classic male stereotype is that boys are supposed to be strong and not cry. And so maybe a child's father judges them or disrespects them if they show weakness or they cry, but when they come to, so they don't do it. That's what you do, right? If your dad was cold to you every time you showed some weakness or cried, you would probably just stop doing it. And so when they come to counselling, we offer them a different environment, one without any conditions on the relationship. We will sit and be in that relationship with them regardless of what they say or what true feelings they express. And the benefit of this is that they then feel free to say all the things that they couldn't before, because they realize that no matter what they say, we are going to accept them, we're not going to judge them, and so they are in a safe environment where they can be themselves. And what we're doing by just allowing them to be themselves and not judging them is role modeling acceptance. So a lot of the problems, according to person-centered theory, comes from the idea that we feel that we should be someone else, that we should be better, we should be different from how we are. And so a lot of depression and anxiety comes from this idea that we see ourselves being this person and we think that we should be this person. Of course, should is a big word in counselling. We're always looking out for that should. And so when we say we see this person, and that's fine, we are going to accept this person for who they are, then the client starts thinking, okay, well, if the counsellor can accept me for who I am, then maybe I can be okay with who I am as well. And when they see us role modeling that acceptance, and so they develop greater self-acceptance and they become comfortable being who they are. Now, number 3 is congruence. So this is genuineness. This is being in that relationship with the client, not wearing any kind of facade, not wearing a mask, just taking it off and being ourselves. Because ultimately, who would want to be in a relationship with someone who is fake? You wouldn't want that relationship for yourself, and it's understandable that the client wouldn't want that relationship either. And so when we are honest, when we are genuine with them, that helps build up that trust that they have a real relationship here, that there is a real strong therapeutic alliance where they can trust us. So those are the 3 core conditions: empathy, unconditional positive regard, and congruence.